One important new feature for VB developers is that there is no more variant data type. Almost all data types are objects in the .NET framework. An object is the ultimate base class. That is, every other data type inherits from the base object base class. There's two kinds of variables in .NET, reference types and value types. Value types are things like numbers that hold a value but aren't pointers to memory locations. A reference type is one like a variable that points to an object. That's a reference type. There's two types, and you can actually convert from one to the other using a technique called boxing. We'll look at boxing in a moment. But in any case, every data type is based on the object base type. If you're writing code in VB6, you'll often have in your classes a terminate event procedure which has code you'd like to have run when your object becomes destroyed. You might release resources, close a database, or write final text to a file. In the .NET world, there is no more explicit destructor. That is, there's no more terminate event on your objects. Basically, the .NET built-in garbage collector, the GC, for those in the know, takes care of destroying objects when those objects are no longer needed. When you set an object variable to nothing, that still lets go of that reference. And when the reference count gets down to 0, sooner or later, the .NET runtime will destroy that object. It's just that you can't know when that actually will happen. The garbage collector takes care of the terminating when objects are no longer used and when their memory is needed by the environment. At that point, .NET will destroy your object. If you don't include some deterministic way to destroy all the resources used by your object, you'll have no way of knowing when that happens. You can add a dispose method to your object and then have consumers of your object explicitly call that method and put code in that dispose method to release any resources. VB.NET includes a number of new data types to make it fit in with the common language specification. First of all, there's a char data type. This is an unsigned 16-bit value for storing Unicode data. We didn't have any type like this in VB6, and were forced to use a string data type even if only holding a single character. We now have a short data type, which is a signed 16-bit value. This corresponds to VB6's integer value. In the .NET platform, integers are 32 bits, longs are 64 bits, and if you do need a 16-bit value, you can use a short to contain that value. In VB6, we use the currency type to keep track of values where you wanted to avoid round-off errors within the first 2 decimal places. This never really worked well because there was round-off in the 3rd decimal place. In VB.NET, you can use the decimal data type, which is a signed value scaled by factors of 10 to avoid the round-off errors at any level of precision. The currency type is gone, so you want to use this decimal type instead. In VB6, dates were stored in double precision numeric values. Now there is a specific class called date that keeps track of date information. In addition, there's now a time span data type, making it easy for you to work with lengths of time, not just specific time values.